Okay, Rafi, we are live.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rakhi Sahai, and I'm part of UNCDF's Center for Financial Health. Very happy to be here with all of you. We've gathered today to launch the Agritech Cohort, which is part of the South-South Innovation Platform of UNCDF. UNCDF has partnered with AIM Niti Aayog, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Rabo Foundation to enable innovations go cross-border, facilitate and improve industry collaboration across markets, and particularly in the least developed countries of Asia and Africa. In today's event, we will show a short video of the challenge, Agritech Challenge, followed by a panel discussion. We have a special address from Assistant Commissioner, Agriculture, Innovation and Communication from Uganda, and we'll have a short closing remarks from UNCDF side. So with this, we would like to play the short video that talks about the challenge and how the whole challenge is structured. And yeah, Anurag, over to you to play the video.
With a population of almost 6 billion, Asia and Africa comprise over 75% of the world's total population, over 90% of the low-income population, and house 42 of the 46 least developed countries. At the same time, these regions have seen rapid economic development, which has lifted many people out of poverty. Several innovations from the region have shaped the global economy in recent years, particularly around utilizing technology to improve the lives of masses. Yet, there are many shared challenges that the low-income community continues to face in Asia and Africa. The community remains vulnerable across sectors and segments including smallholder farmers, gig economy workers, migrant laborers, among others. For instance, there are about 500 million small farms that support over 2 billion people in the developing countries. They must navigate technology, climate, productivity, storage, market, and other risks to sustain their livelihood. Thus, a crucial challenge is to improve their individual and household financial health, which enables financial security, financial control, and financial freedom. Many countries are addressing these challenges through innovative use of technology to help ensure there is no one left behind in the digital era. Several of these solutions have achieved not only local, but also regional or global scale with a proven model. This presents scope for enabling a broader cross-border exchange of innovations, insights, and investments to create solutions at scale for the low-income community. To unlock this potential, UNCDF is launching a multi-sector and multi-stakeholder innovation platform to drive global collaboration opportunities. The platform will facilitate access to market, investors, mentorship, and knowledge resources. The first initiative of the platform is the Agritech Challenge 2021, with a focus on smallholder farmers. The challenge is in partnership with Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, Government of India, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Rabo Foundation. The Agritech Challenge will help scale agri-tech and agri-fintech solutions for smallholder farmers across Kenya, Malawi, Uganda, and Zambia in Africa, and India, Indonesia, and Malaysia in Asia. The agriculture sector in these countries is crucial to the economy, yet it has several value chain gaps, particularly around low productivity that impacts income due to limited access to technology and finance, climate risk which leads to crop and income loss from unpredictable events, and supply chain inefficiencies that create price and demand volatility. The Agritech Challenge 2021 invited applications from agri-tech and fintech innovators addressing these gaps. The challenge received over 130 applications across digital lending, smart farming, livestock insurance, storage, carbon credits, among others. A select set of solutions were presented to a global jury to form the cohort of the Agritech Challenge. The cohort comprises 10 innovators with interest to scale in the participating countries. These commercially proven innovators are already addressing various productivity, financing, and supply chain gaps for smallholder farmers and have the potential to expand their solution beyond their home market. The Agritech Challenge will facilitate the international expansion of the cohort through direct industry linkages, target market and sector understanding, investor connects, insights to scale up across borders, opportunity to receive financial grant. The challenge is also engaging with early-stage innovators under the AIM UNCDF Agritech program to help build readiness for international expansion. 15 such promising innovators have been selected across irrigation technology, fintech, digital marketplace, smart farming, cold storage, among others. The innovators will receive support to explore expansion through masterclasses by global experts and opportunity to engage with industry mentors. For more information and to partner with us, please visit this link.
Great. We truly hope that you would have liked the video. Now, moving on to the next section, which is a panel discussion. I would like to invite Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog Mission Director, to introduce our panelists and take forward the discussion. Dr. Chintan, over to you.
Rakhi and your team. I'm delighted to be moderating this panel discussion, where we have four very uniquely qualified experts in this space of agri-tech. To my right is Dr. Rajiv Kumar, the Honorable Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog. I'm pleased to say that he is also, if I may say, a part-time farmer. Then we have Professor Ramesh Chand, who is a member Niti Aayog and a very eminent expert in the field of agriculture.
And a full-time farmer.
And a full-time farmer. Online we have Anjani Bansal. Anjani is a dear friend and leads private sector partnerships for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for India. And he also leads the startup and enterprise engagements in the areas of agriculture, healthcare, and financial services, and is very knowledgeable about agriculture in the philanthropic space particularly. And then finally, last but not the least at all, we have Harry Vollard, who is the managing director of Rabo Frontier Ventures at the Rabobank. And Rabobank has been very, very progressive in terms of engaging with startups in the agriculture space, and just trying to do what they can in terms of nurturing this innovation ecosystem. So it's great to have this panel. We will plunge straight into the conversation because we have about 35 minutes here. Let me start by saying that well, agriculture is a colossal sector. So 35 minutes, it's very little time to touch upon all of it. But given the experience of these individuals, we'll take a vantage point that will hopefully will inform this conversation going forward. I should also say thank you to UNCDF for coming together with Atal Innovation Mission, our team here, Ishita and Anurag, to put together this program, which has brought together startups under two different tracks. There is the main track, where experienced startups, by experienced I mean startups that have demonstrated that they have about $150,000 of annual revenue for at least last 3 years. And they also have some significant traction on the ground. We got 100 applications in this category, and we have selected 10 of them from that. So you can imagine the sort of activity level in this track. The other track is the Atal Innovation Mission track, which is for younger startups. These are ones that have done the minimum viable product type of a demonstration. And here we got 37 applicants, and we have selected 15 who have demonstrated differentiation as compared to what else is available in that market. So to me, this sort of response of startups, it indicates that our ecosystem is beginning to show that this kind of specialization is possible to harness at one level and to solve problems in Agritech. And I have no doubt that many of these individuals and startups will go on to solving some of our most difficult challenges in agriculture. So let me start by a question for the policymakers who are in the room with me here, Dr. Kumar and Professor Chan. So here's the question. What do you ought to be the goal from policy perspective for the smallholder farmers of this country? And if you were to assess the current state of the system, what is the gap between that goal that we are trying to achieve for smallholder farmers vis-a-vis where we stand today?
I defer to the expert, Doctor.
Thank you, Chintanji. There are so many challenges related to small farmer, but I will try to put a few. You may say these are in terms of some sort of priority, and I will see if I can relate these to Agritech. The foremost challenge for smallholder is raising their income. We all know that farm size is so small in case of India that more than 80%, to be precise 86% farmers, they operate less than 2 hectares of land, and about 68% operate less than 1 hectare of land. So how we can ensure that we increase their income? Again, there are two sources, agriculture and non-agriculture. The recent situation assessment survey, which came recently, it shows that for the farmer at the bottom category, they drive more income from non-agriculture than from agriculture. But today we will discuss agriculture part only. The first major challenge they face is that our entire extension machinery, it does not pay adequate attention to these people. So they do not have access to knowledge. They do not have access to knowledge about variety, about technology, about quality seed, quality fertilizer, where to go if there is an insect pest, those kind of things. Because extension people also know that if there is a 10-acre farmer, better we go to him or her rather than going to 10 farmers who are owning 1 acre. So whether it is public extension or private extension, so they have this time and resource consideration. So from Agritech point of view, if we go for this, but we are talking a lot these days, this digitalization of agriculture that we provide for specific situation, the advisory to these farmers, these are the best suited crops for you. These are the best opportunities available for you. And then the next question will come that if you are telling me that I should grow such and such crop where I can get quality seed. These days, even big agri firms like Mahindra and Mahindra others, they are also trying to set up this mechanism, but that is related to their business, sale of the input. That is second category. Before that, what is important is that what they should be adopting, but they should be practicing. So then we go to these kind of things, that seed, and we all know that seed is a carrier of technology. Seed in India suffer from so many problems. You buy whatever seed, 20% may not be viable, so only 80% will germinate. And if you do not treat it properly, even that 80%, some of it will be destroyed at different stages. So what is the seed treatment, which can make a lot of difference to protect against diseases, and also in some cases, if you inoculate, to help in terms of either making use of soil fertility or atmospheric nitrogen. So agriculture is going to increasingly become knowledge intensive. And these smallholders, they are most disadvantaged in terms of acquiring that knowledge. So I will say that the role of Agritech, if they can, they have scale advantage, they have so many advantages, that if they can enable these farmers, that what is the knowledge intensive agriculture, because biggest advantage in agriculture is that of labor. Even now, in terms of productivity, the study shows that small happen to be more productive than large. Even till date, that is the situation. But if you look at the income, because scale is so low, then they are in a disadvantaged situation. So they need advisory. I have given only one example. They need advisory at every stage, even at the stage of little marketing produce which they have. What do we advise them? So I will just say that the biggest problem is to raise their income, and for raising their income, they need knowledge, and knowledge related to different things, and it is there that Agritech can play an important role.
Great. Thank you so much. I mean, I think a couple of things I'm taking away from what you said. One is that Agritech has different economics as compared to conventional businesses that may allow them to work with smallholder farmers and yet have a profitable business model. So their structure may allow them to be more inclusive in that sense, which is really wonderful news. One other point that you brought up, since you brought up, I thought I should ask you a question about, because this is a perspective that Agritech players may want to acquire. This is the idea of this agricultural income versus a non-agricultural income. And if somebody is interested in well-being of a farmer, would it make sense to draw the boundary of this system around both the agriculture and non-agriculture income and say that, this person's income needs to go up, by which means in a given year it goes up is not really is not the question. Do you think that's a better perspective as we migrate to future economy?
You see, Asian model is different than Western model. I'm giving now broader perspective, then I will come to your question. Those who are exposed to Western model, they will generally argue that scale will triumph over labor advantage. So ultimately, the large farmer, they will eat the small farmer, and slowly the farm size will increase and small farmer will vanish. But this argument has not succeeded or not shown evidence in case of Asia. Asian agriculture has remained dominated by smallholders. Big farmer never came there. Even if you look at advanced capitalist economy in Asia, Japan, you find that farm size tiny kind of small farmer, but it is not that they have given way to large farmer. More recently, example of China, farm size even smaller than us. Even smaller than us. So much smaller than us. What is our farm size? And they are existing.
Yeah.
So first is that if we feel that we can take them out and provide employment elsewhere, so that has not worked in Asia. Some of them can be, but overall size of farm remain small. And in entire, then again, whether you take Japan, Korea, or case of China, that they have been provided opportunity to earn income outside the farm. Now, outside farm can be two type of income. One is income that is related to agriculture itself, that they themselves do sort of value addition. Rather than selling the milk, they are making cream out of it. They are making butter out of it. So they are selling butter and cream rather than selling the milk. Just one example.
Yeah.
Like that, rather than selling the legume grain, they are just grinding that dal and they are selling it as a dal. Kind of experiment already tried in case of Karnataka, that they are selling dal rather than whole grain. So that is one part of augmenting income through activity which are related to agriculture, but they are post-harvest activities, so not classified as agriculture activity. Then second is that if in the development policy we encourage agro-processing industry in the rural areas, then you will just find that these farmers will also have opportunity to get employment there. At least one member can go for it, and then that will become the second source of income for them. So I feel that we need to harness both these sources, opportunity for getting income outside the post-harvest activity through value chain, that whatever, and in non-agriculture activity.
Yeah. So we need to accept that the small farms are here to stay, and what can we do in
Asia?
That is right.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So, would you like to say something about the gaps and?
No, I can come last.
Yeah.
Ask her.
Last में तब तक हमारे से पूछते रहिए.
Okay, let's go to the two experts online, and both of you have seen a bunch of creativity in the Agritech space, and so one question is that what kind of innovative trends? This is a question for Anjani and Harry. What kind of trends do you see in farm productivity, income, sustainability, climate, agriculture, etc.? These are innovative trends that you think you like and you think would help the smallholder farmer worldwide in the times to come.
Thanks, Dr. Chintan. It's great to be part of this discussion, and again, really glad to have the opportunity to hear from Professor Chand and Dr. Kumar. I think Professor Chand pretty much covered a lot of issues very succinctly, but just to add to what he said in response to your question, I think, like he pointed out, extension services is a major area of need. And at the same time, we also see a lot of innovation happening in that space, relying on the digital advances that our country has, is going through right now. So that's one area where we see new models for using the access to smartphones, cheap data plans across the country to offer advisory services to farmers related to some of the issues that Professor Chand pointed out regarding a choice of varieties, agronomy practices, choice of plant nutrients, even access to markets in terms of price information, etc. So that's an area where I see a lot of activity, and I'm quite excited about the potential over the next few years. And also that's an area which is also common between India and other parts of the world, particularly Africa. And we are also seeing that portability of ideas which are being developed in India being tried in Africa and vice versa. So that's an area of where I'm quite excited about. And the second area which I am also really optimistic about is the space of using technologies like remote sensing, uh, drones, and IoT to get better at predicting issues related to farming. This could be around yield estimation, prediction of diseases and pests, and we are seeing new startups coming up in India who are now able to, and not new, let me step back and say what we are seeing is the startups which came up, say, 5 years ago, are now in a place where their solutions and technologies have started to mature and are no longer just in experimentation stage, but have transitioned into being able to offer services that farmers can rely on and use in their day-to-day activity. So let me stop there and turn it over to Harry.
Yeah, want to be a part of the panel discussion. Hello, everyone. So what I'd like to add, what actually technology can do for the farmer, and that actually relates to what the former panelist was actually saying, is actually making better market linkages and solve the problem of the so-called information asymmetry. So because the farmers currently are just using their established connections, but through technology you can actually open up new opportunities for the farmer, and make better connections, so better market linkages, which is reflected in better margins. And a couple startups are actually working on that, so that's very beneficial for the farmer in terms of better margins. And what I'm also, well, next to our Agtech investments, we do also fintech investments. And what I've seen, what's taking off, was paying a lot of attention to the user experience of your solutions. And as we may all know, direct sales to the farmer is extremely difficult. So you really need to pay attention to the user experience. So it must be very easy to access, really easy to understand, in order to leverage all the knowledge and the best practices there are to enable the farmer in to do the practice better than he has ever done before.
Thank you so much. Well, I think a couple of things that you both said that I want to underscore for at least the younger startups who are listening to this. One is this idea of gaining traction after 5 years of journey. So this is certainly a marathon, not a sprint. Second is this idea of gaining user experience, which in agriculture tends to be a very important issue, because almost always the farmer knows a lot more than one knows as a startup when it gets going. So listening to them is very important. While we're at the trends that you like, let me also ask a question about, since both of you fund Agtech, are there things that you wish innovators and startups were doing that they currently aren't?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dr. Chintan, for the question. Yeah, I would say, one area where I think there are green shoots, but we need to do a lot more, is in the space of climate tech. I think in general, what we have seen in terms of development of new technologies, just a number of ideas that are that we see in India needs to grow significantly, and there is no reason it shouldn't, given the capability and the quality of entrepreneurs in India. But climate tech, as it relates to agriculture, we still see fairly few opportunities and ideas out there, both when it comes to early stage research, but then also converting that technology into a product which is both commercially attractive and viable for small farmers to adopt. I think there is a need for more activity there. And second is also the space of biotech in agriculture, particularly when it comes to early stage startups in India. Where we have seen more activity so far is in the space of on-farm technology, post-harvest supply chains. There are many great companies forming in India there. But when it comes to biotech research for agriculture, to develop new seed varieties, new plant protection varieties, there is still scope for a lot of improvement in Indian context from companies here. Over to you, Henry.
Great, thanks.
Yeah,
Any
and
thoughts?
to add, to add on that, I think there is also a huge opportunity and a huge challenge actually in how to transform the business of the farm itself into a more sustainable business. Because we all know we must or we have to, but from a farmer perspective, there is not a direct benefit. So I've seen a lot of solutions which are working out fine, but there is no direct benefit for the farmer. And so we need to solve that. And one of the solution areas is to work with carbon credits. And the other thing is, looking at fintech and how actually the fintech space is quickly picking up, is that the need for standardization and an open infrastructure will help also tremendously the Agtech sector.
Great, thank you so much. Let me turn to Dr. Kumar and anyone else who wants to pitch in here. But I think the one other major trend where a very different type of innovation may be needed is this whole question of behavior change, if you would, with trends like the regenerative agriculture or natural farming, various trends. How are we doing on those?
Yeah. Thanks, Chintan. Before we get on to the regenerative farming and natural farming, etc., which is one of the areas that I've been pushing and going for, I'd like to say that Agritech, that water usage in agriculture is, in India at least, most wasteful. 89% of our water gets used up in irrigation. Our groundwater is depleting much faster than what we can afford, etc. And I think here precision agriculture will play a big role. So if you can get your sensors onto the ground and then connect them to your drip irrigation systems and so on, and you can actually get nutrigation, which is not just irrigation, but you can combine that with nutrients and then supply that, and which is what Israel has shown very much is the way for the future. And I think that's one area where Agritech should now get on in a much bigger way than what it has been able to do so far. And there are companies which are promoting all of this, but I think that's the one part which I think needs to. The second part that I wanted to mention was about the use of agricultural residue. Now this is causing a climate problem. This is a loss to the farmer. While on the other hand, we know that biomass can be used to get converted to methanol, and also to green hydrogen. Actually, some people are trying that now. So why not bring technology here, which is that yes, the product and marketing, etc., are one part of it, but I think to connect these new entrepreneurs, I mean, if you like, and new investors, new breed of investors. For new technology can be a role that Agritech can play. And then coming on to the regenerative part, I mean, I think it's quite clear, and I think there are several papers now on it, that with our small holdings, of less than 2 hectares and 65% below 1 hectare, mechanized agriculture is not for us. I mean, unless we may get into farmers, producers, organization, etc. So those economies of scale are not going to be generated here. At the same time, with all the changes that you are getting, biotech, biochemical revolution is beginning to show, decline in marginal returns, with more chemicals, etc. So this is why the impetus, if you like, to look for alternatives to this biochemical input based agricultural productivity increase. Now, new seeds, etc., are all very well, but what we are beginning to notice is that if we can switch gears and get farmers to be aware of the advantages of agroecology, if you like, or chemical-free agriculture, which one of the challenges for Agritech was to prevent further degradation of land, and by which we mean, I suppose, preventing the further loss of organic carbon in the soil. Now, how do we do that? And if my figures are right, if I know correctly, India is already at what, 0.4 or 0.5% of organic carbon content, while 1.5 is the least that you want to have to make the soil fertile. So what do you do to improve the quality of soil and improve the organic carbon content? The Indian Institute of Soil Sciences in Bhopal tells us that this was 2.5 in 1947. So we are in the process of desertifying our land in some sense. And I have found that using chemical-free agriculture, and not putting chemical inputs into the soil prevents the evaporation of carbon into the atmosphere. And in fact, there is now some evidence to show that by using the techniques of natural farming, you can actually increase the organic carbon content in the soil, and which is sequestered from the atmosphere. So that's the amazing result that you can get for climate. So I think that is where the farmer needs now hand-holding. And this is what makes agriculture even more knowledge intensive. And this is why what we need in Agritech is to now train a number of farmers. And as Dr. Ramesh was saying, now, it's no more a question of, putting in that much of inputs and getting that output, but, to getting to know the new ways of doing agriculture, the new technologies, the new processes. And this is why I think a lot more attention has to go on hand-holding and knowledge dissemination, and to find effective means of doing so, because our current mechanisms need to be rejuvenated. Let me not say anything more, and I think that's where we can focus on. Let me stop here.
Thank you so much. Well, I think in this even very, very short conversation, we can see that we can at least glean two things. First, that a program like AIM UNCDF that promotes Agritech entrepreneurs, startups, by connecting them to international markets, in this case from India to Africa, Malaysia, and so on, is absolutely worth all of our hard work. And the second we can glean is that even the list that was made by these four experts on what needs to be done, where the opportunities stand, we have so far barely scratched the surface of what AgTech can do. And so there's tremendous opportunity going forward in this field. And I hope that people who are listening to us on YouTube Live and so on are excited about us as we are. So With that, let me just say thank you to all four of you, Harry, Anjani, Professor Chand, and Dr. Kumar, and hand it back to our MCs here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chintan. Thank you, Professor Chand. Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for the wonderful insights. And of course, Anjani and Harry, who are also joining with us from different places. And a very good morning and a good afternoon or a good evening to all of you, depending on where you're joining this panel from. We have got some very, very wonderful insights from all our panelists today, and I do hope all the startups that are there with us on this call, some of them are solving these challenges for India and for the world. May I now invite Commissioner Ms. Akaya Consolato, Commissioner Extension at Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, representing the State Minister of Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Uganda, to please share her perspective on internationalization of these agri-tech startups, which is the crux of the program today. Ms. Consolato, over to you. Is she there in the call?
Yeah, she's there. No. Ms. Consolato, you're speaking on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon. I believe I'm not here by mistake. I know I've been requested to be here for a reason, and for that reason, I'm very grateful. First and foremost, I want to appreciate the presentation that has been made. And if we note carefully, we are all here talking about agriculture extension. That's where I sit. And I still see pertinent issues coming out. First and foremost, I noted the issue of quality, which cuts across all the other sectors. The knowledge, the aspect of knowledge coming in strongly. So I think we need to strongly work on the knowledge disruptive technology to ensure that agriculture is uplifted as we address concerns of smallholder farmers. Those are words from me, but please allow me to read the message from the Honorable Minister as he gave it to me. So today I become the minister, and I'm grateful to be a minister for a few minutes. Dignitaries from the government of India, the development partners, that is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Robo Foundation, the UNCDF staff, the media, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm honored to officiate at this function. And as we announce the AMF UNCDF South-South Partnership Initiative in collaboration with the United Nations Capital Development Fund, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, together with the Robo Foundation. I've been informed that the partnership will help in the following areas. First, to globalize innovations across markets. And the next is to mobilize the capital flow. And finally, to upskill enablers in the markets. There is therefore no doubt that the digital innovation is rapidly transforming every major sector of the global economy. That is agriculture sector inclusive. And also you will all agree with me that during this COVID, we have been pushed even further to get into the e-agriculture system. In the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries of Uganda, we recognize the strategic potential of digital transformation in driving Uganda's agro-industrialization program, which is under the National Development Plan 3. And this we have already started implementing this financial year, 2021-2022. Which aims to increase the commercialization and competitiveness of the agricultural production and agro-processing. Indeed, as we have seen here today, digital technologies are effective in bridging the information gaps that hinders market access for many smallholder farmers. Increasing knowledge through easy access to extension services and improved agricultural supply chain management. These are quite important issues that we see in extension. The ministry has championed a number of digital innovations, including the 2019 Disruptive Agricultural Technology and Innovation Challenges that has seen the ministry strive ahead to at least improve on their e-extension services that is being provided to the farmers. And in this, we have like Akelo bankers that emerged like a winner in this disruptive technology. And right now, the ministry is keen on the value of South-South cooperation, especially enabling innovations from India and what they can add to the Ugandan government, especially on agri-technology ecosystem, as we strive to address the persistent challenges in the sector. We are also excited to see that the Young People Initiative that began as a pilot project can now be scaled up by the UNCD to increase their impact. And you and me will agree that the population of this world is majority the youth. And for Uganda, we have more than 50% young population. So the social innovations such as this delivered positive impacts on the livelihoods of the farmers. However, scaling them up to reach the small-scale farmers who are over about 80% of our farming population, this remains a big challenge for us as Uganda. Our smallholder farmers still face quite a myriad of challenges, which include, among others, limited access to financing. We have inadequate access to markets, and we have also market information and overdependence of weather patterns. We still wait for God to give us rain so that we can do our farming. So we can see these are some of the challenges that the country faces. Ladies and gentlemen, the digital transformation in agriculture is not an easy one that the ministry or even Ministry of ICT can address alone. And that means we need everybody to come on board. We need all sectors to work together and make sure that this endeavor is addressed. The government, the sector, the partners, all of us need to come and work together to address this concern, because food is for everyone. And when we're looking at over about 80% of smallholder farmers employed in this sector, that calls for a concerted effort. I'm reliably informed that the UNCDF in Uganda also has, over the last 5 years, supported innovations in digital payments in the various agricultural value chains, including coffee, dairy, maize, seed oil, and tea. We can scale this up to other areas. So this work has contributed to financial inclusion of the sector of small-scale farmers who do not have access to bank accounts. So the ministry is also recognizant of the UNCDF work in enabling access to digital solutions, especially to address the challenges in the sector in northern Uganda. So the solutions that shall emerge from these challenges will complement these efforts and aim to achieve some of the following. One is to enable expansion of agriculture and agricultural finance technology startups to identify countries in Africa and Asia. The second is to create network of industry partners and investors to help scale up the startups. That is the banks, the agricultural practitioners, and other companies to co-create solutions with the startups. The next is to build network of country innovation hubs for knowledge and market linkages. And these are quite pertinent. The final one is to build foundation for continuous engagement and collaboration. And these are very pertinent concerns that if in the South-South, we are able to address them. It will help us to go a strive ahead. Please allow me to commend the investors here for bringing these digital solutions to life and to harness their creativity to contribute to addressing the challenges that exist in the agricultural sector. I also commend the UNCDF and the Government of India, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the Robo Foundation for fostering the inclusive innovation and bringing digital transformation at the forefront of the development initiatives. It is once again my honor to be here today and to officially announce that this first Agri-Challenge cohort, the first Agri-Challenge cohort. I also look forward to continue working with you on this. I'll be happy to attend the next meetings and to be part of the team. I want to appreciate every team for God and my country. Thank you very much, and I'm grateful to be part of this team. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Consolato. On behalf of Water Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, and the Government of India for giving our young innovators and startups an opportunity to work in your country.
Thank you.
We are very grateful for that, and we look forward to working together with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. May I now invite Mr. Andre Domel, Director of Inclusive Finance at UNCDF, for the closing remarks. Over to you, Andre.
Thank you so much. And I would like really to thank all the speakers we heard this morning for sharing their insights on the kind of synergies and cooperation opportunities to, as was mentioned very well by our colleague from Uganda, to work collectively towards improving the lives of the vulnerable in the global south and help to achieve the sustainable development goal. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to share some closing remark. And I wanted to say that UNCDF has been working towards leaving no one behind in the digital era, particularly in the world's least developed countries. And this approach allows us to help identify and support innovation and support financing models to scale those innovations in close cooperation with like-minded partners. The Asian and African markets continue to rapidly transform on the back of innovative technology and digital solutions that are being built for the last mile. And they share similar challenges across access to market, technology, finance, as we mentioned, connectivity, especially at the last mile, infrastructure in terms of interoperable payment system. And this challenge has given rise to a wide range of innovators who are addressing these issues for the underserved markets. And UNCDF has been engaging with some of these promising solutions through our local and regional presence. However, realize that the support framework for those solutions to be scaled up within and beyond borders through the right knowledge, industry linkage, and investment needs significant strengthening. This creates, I believe, a great opportunity for us to facilitate a South-South platform for exchange of insight, solution, and capital between Asia and Africa, as well as for helping country innovation ecosystem learn from one another, in particular, across LDCs and non-LDCs. This opportunity is of crucial importance for smallholder farmers, as we heard today. And these categories of farmers are yet, the key pillars of agriculture in many countries, as we heard, and at the same time, yet the most vulnerable stakeholders in the agriculture sector. So a common challenge, as we heard today, across countries for smallholder farmers is to improve their productivity and income while mitigating risk from unforeseen events and the impact of climate change. There are various successful agri-tech and fintech solutions, and we heard some this morning addressing those gaps. And the importance of this solution cannot be more pertinent during this global COVID pandemic. It has put the financial well-being of smallholder farmers at stake, even when they have access to financial services. So in that context, the UNCDF Agritech Challenge is the first such initiative under our South-South platform, which will engage with innovators to help co-create solutions for smallholder farmers across select least developed countries and other markets in Asia and Africa. And the UN, believed that the achievement of SDGs required a co-created approach by various stakeholders. And in that context, I really would like to take this opportunity to thank again our partners at Thai Innovation Mission, NITI Aayog and the Government of India, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Rabo Foundation for jointly designing this initiative with us. And with those words, I would like to wish you all, the audience and our innovators, the best for a successful and safe year 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Henri, especially for joining us this early in your day. With that, we call today's session to a close, and we wish all best of luck to all the innovators and the startups that are here with us today. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Done?
Yes, we are.
Done for the day?
Yes.
Thank